At Scripps, we think it's a combination of providing access to women's sports via broadcast or any of the live events and the sporting events that we're partners with. So broadcast is certainly a large part of it and a foundation. But then in addition to the broadcast, as we know, there is so much new consumption happening within the streaming world. And so it's the combination for us and making sure that in any household in the country, regardless of the changing pay TV landscape, there's an entry point or an access point to these women's sports. And so at Scripps, it's all about how do we put that product in the hands of that audience or consumer in whichever way that they would like to consume it, whether that be through over-the-air or broadcast, or whether that be through a pay TV option, or whether that be a free streaming option. We are going to make sure that that content, those women's sports events, and all the great stories around those athletes are provided in all those ways to all the households possible.
Why are we seeing such an increase in women's sports on streaming platforms?
Well, I think live events is what is most exciting and rapidly growing. I think in this world of ubiquitous content, I think that live events first and foremost are being consumed at a greater rate than ever before, and then more specifically sports as a part of live events and women's sports, which is something that hasn't been necessarily provided to as wide of an audience as it has been or it is now. I think that is driving an increase in interest. I think new audiences are testing and sampling this content, and they're coming back for more. I think that women's sports in general has a unique appeal and likability. Some of the stories, at Scripps, we have built a custom studio in Atlanta to do pre and post games. And during these shows, we're doing these athlete profiles that are just wonderful stories about these athletes. And so when you think about connecting as an audience member to one of these athletes pre-game and then watching them via a live sporting event thereafter or immediately after, it's a connection that we feel like is incomparable.
Are there different audiences for different platforms? Talk to me a little bit about how it shakes out.
Yeah, I think you could certainly look at the audience profile and data and find differences. I think platform by platform, you're not going to necessarily see a wide variety of different audiences specifically for women's sports. I think what you're seeing is younger. I think you're seeing more diverse. That's certainly what we have found in the time that we have had our partnerships with the NWSL and the WNBA. So at Scripps, we forged those relationships back in 2023. And so as we've matured with those leagues and we brought this product to more and more consumers, you'll see that the overall audiences tend to be younger, tend to be more diverse. But it's tough to say that specific streaming platforms deliver variances in those audience, but as a general statement, what's most exciting to us is the younger, more diverse audience that it's bringing in for Scripps.
And how is data helping make women's sports a bigger draw for advertisers, especially in programmatic?
Data and programmatic go hand in hand. Something that we think about a lot as it relates to programmatic is all about finding audiences. So an advertiser might not wake up thinking that day, or an agency buyer that day, that they want to find a specific product that they want to go buy, but they do know exactly what the demographic profile of their ideal target audience is, or the psychographic profile of that audience is. And so programmatic, in my mind, allows those buyers, those advertisers, whomever is looking to purchase the commercials, to find the audience regardless of where that audience is, right? So they may not think about, hey, I want to go to women's sports to find someone that looks and purchases like myself, but I very much consume specific aspects of WNBA and WSL, whether it's those pre and post games, whether it's the live events themselves. And so I think what it does is programmatic opens up the opportunity for audiences to be found, whereas advertisers may not necessarily be looking for them there.
And how do you keep the industry moving forward, ensuring that tech and marketing help advance long-term sports equity?
So I think that there are many leagues, there are many athletes, there are many sports that need more attention and visibility. I think that's certainly applicable in women's sports, but I think that there are still men's leagues that deserve more awareness, attention, and distribution. And so as it relates to technology, as it relates to streaming, as it relates to Scripps investment in some of these leagues that haven't necessarily had the visibility, I think you're going to see more and more enablement of that exposure. I think the pay TV landscape is changing by the day, and I believe that we're seeing a groundswell, and we're at this point in time where more of those underserved leagues and teams and athletes that certainly deserve the same amount of or more awareness. I think you're going to be able to see more of those stories being told because of the accessibility of streaming, because of the way that programmatic enables and empowers streaming, because dollars are flowing more toward live events. So I'm excited. A quick plug for our Sports Illustrated women's games. That's an example, right? So Scripps partnering with Sports Illustrated, a storied brand, to bring Sports Illustrated women's games and have these great athletes come and compete in 6 different types of sports. Those are the types of events that may not have been funded 5 years ago or 10 years ago. But now, because of technology, because of streaming, because of programmatic, because of increased consumption of over-the-air and broadcast, and that changing dynamic with pay TV, you're seeing more examples like the Sports Illustrated women's games come to fruition.